What's up, guys? We are back today with some NFL content, but don't worry, my MLB picks for today are in the pinned comment below and also in a community post every single day. In this video, we are going to break down each team in the AFC East, and I will give you my early week 1 bets on their games. Before we jump into these breakdowns, guys, do me a big favor and hit that like button. It only takes 1 second and helps the channel out a ton. If you like these videos, go ahead and subscribe. It's 100% free and can notify you about new videos and anytime we go live. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and join our free email list and check out our top confidence plays on all the major sports, including NFL preseason premium content. Get in there for maximum value. Comment below with what you think about these teams or anything you see coming for this NFL season or any questions you have about the MLB games for today. We respond to every single comment, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. Now let's take a look at the Buffalo Bills, who come into the season fresh off of a tough ending to last year, guys. They finished the year 11-6, which is nice, but losing in the playoffs to the Kansas City Chiefs in a 27-24 heartbreaker cannot feel very good for their fans or their head coach Sean McDermott. In terms of the offense looking at us for the Bills this season, there's definitely been some changes. I mean, they've still got Josh Allen, so always have a chance as long as he can stay healthy, and they've got him out there under center. The dude does absolutely incredible, crazy stuff out there. A lot of pressure on his legs. I mean, he can definitely take some big hits. He's a guy that could end up injured at different points in the season, so that can be a little bit problematic, but he's been pretty durable, and he's a big guy out there. Obviously, one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. Anybody would be happy to have him, so expecting good stuff from him, but it could be a little bit tougher for Josh Allen out there this season without Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Both of them are out of there, guys. Not going to be seeing them in Bills uniforms this season, so definitely not going to help. They're hoping that picking up Curtis Samuel and rookie Keon Coleman, that can kind of, fill the gap there and can make a big difference for an offense that looks like, with Joe Brady at the helm, is going to be bringing in like a full-on shift in how they're looking to run this offense, guys. It appears there's going to be a bigger emphasis on running the ball, and I'm assuming that means running the ball not in the hands of Josh Allen. So that would be great to take some pressure off of him, have him take a lot less hits, could definitely help him stay on the field more, and just generally speaking, this is a guy that's had to really carry this offense, especially in the playoffs. So getting him back out there, and having him out there at closer to full strength for the playoffs, everybody's going to be dinged up, no doubt about it, but having him at 100% in the playoffs could make a huge difference for this team that really just seems like it's got to get over the hump out there that is the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll see what the offense can do. We're also expecting to see some decent stuff from this defense under Brady Babich. This defense was top 10 in most categories last season, so they'll definitely take that. They dealt with a lot of very troublesome injuries early on in the year, guys. It was pretty tough out there. This defense was looking good, through the preseason coming into the first couple weeks, but right out of the gate, a very rough time, taking some severe injuries there. Lost some guys for the season and just couldn't quite get back to the form they wanted to be. Overall, it wasn't that bad, and we see a lot of positives, a lot of things to like about this defense heading into this season, with a bunch of guys coming back from those injuries, and they should be at full strength, and kind of had, obviously you're rehabbing from injury, but kind of had a season off to like get in peak shape and, be in a good position to do some positive things this season. So I'm expecting to see the Bills do a lot of very good stuff here in this division. I mean, they're looking like the best team out there to me, not a lot of question there. So we'll see what we get from the Bills in their week 1 matchup, guys. We're looking at the Arizona Cardinals going on the road to take on the Buffalo Bills. We've got the Bills at -6.5 or -7. You can still find both numbers out there. We've got an over-under in this game of 48. So in terms of the side in this game, guys, I mean, we don't 100% know what the Cardinals are really going to look like this season. They've gone through a lot of different changes. We'll obviously have a preview on them eventually here, down the road. The Bills obviously looking decent coming into this one, but taking them as a full touchdown favorite seems a little bit sketchy to me. I would maybe lean towards the Cardinals +7 in this spot, but that seems a little bit sketch. In terms of the over-under, though, I do definitely see some things I like here. I think we could see plenty of offense in this game. I think over 48 is very live. I mean, you've got a good, probably offense and healthy-looking offense coming in there for the Cardinals, expecting good stuff from them, and we're expecting maybe not the same caliber of play that we got from the Bills last season. We'll see. It could be fine. They could not really miss Stephon Diggs too much, and running the ball could be all right for them, but I think over 48 is a pretty reasonable play here in week 1. But guys, definitely always, be tuned in, be looking for updates on this. We're going to have free picks. We're going to have videos here on YouTube about our leans on week 1, and we'll also have, premium content over there at Stump the Spread and the occasional free pick, so jump in there and check on that leading up closer to the season. Next up here in the AFC East, guys, we're looking at the Miami Dolphins, who had quite a crazy year last year, guys. I mean, finishing up things 11-6, not a too big of a disappointment there behind Mike McDaniel, one of the most exciting and I would have to say entertaining coaches in the NFL. He's a great guy to listen to. Seems like he's doing a good job of leading this team. The Dolphins big time committed to Tua here, and the big thing they're going to have to do here if they want to get over the Kansas City Chiefs, want to make it past them in the playoffs if given the opportunity again, it seems like the Dolphins are going to need home field advantage. They are not a team that looks very good in the cold. It was pretty much a disaster for them at Arrowhead back in the playoffs last season. So yeah, definitely have to be locked in here in the regular season, and the main thing that's going to help them find success in the regular season is the health of Tua. He just has to be healthy out there, guys, and he can play well even against good opponents. Theoretically, that's kind of what he has to prove this season, but the main thing he has to prove is that he can stay upright and that he can be healthy for a long time this season. If he ends up missing 4 or 5 games, that could be a very tough look, even though we see Miami with one of the most insane wide receiver cores in the NFL, guys. Tyreek Hill, obviously one of the fastest, if not probably the fastest guy in the NFL, and yeah, one of the most talented pass catchers. That dude is an absolute insane threat every time he's on the field, so they need him to stay healthy just like everybody else, but as long as he's out there, this offense is extremely dangerous. And right alongside him, we've got Jalen Waddle. He is a monster out there. He's another amazing wide receiver option. Like with Tua thrown to these two guys, like this offense absolutely looking like one of the best in the NFL. There's no doubt about that. So expecting very good things from this offense. They've also got great running backs out there, guys. I mean, Mostert and Devon Achane, he is looking like a monster out there. So this is going to be a team that can move the ball both through the air and on the ground, which obviously being a dual threat is a huge deal. We don't expect Tua to do that much running himself, although he's definitely seemed capable of that at times. You just really don't want him out there in the open field. Ball security can be a question mark, but also this dude taking a concussion and maybe ending his NFL career is a big deal. So yeah, Miami definitely going to be a little bit cautious with him. I don't think we'll see him in the preseason too much at all either, and I honestly don't think we'll see too much of any of these guys in the preseason. This is not a team with a lot to prove here in the exhibition slate, not a ton to figure out on the offensive side of the ball. They're just going to be looking to get through the preseason healthy and get into that regular season with a chance to absolutely cook. So in terms of the offense, definitely tons of reason for optimism here for the Dolphins. In terms of their defense, we see they're bringing in Anthony Weaver, a new defensive coordinator this season. They were not good at all last year. They're hoping that adding guys like Jordan Brooks and Kendall Fuller and safety Jordan Poyer can help bolster this unit that, yeah, they were down there towards the bottom of the NFL in terms of points allowed. I mean, maybe not the bottom, but definitely the bottom half of the league, and I would say probably the bottom third somewhere in there, but just not a defense that we were super high on. But yeah, some pretty key additions. I mean, bringing in a solid linebacker and a solid cornerback, upgrading that secondary, and yeah, I think this is going to be an improved defensive unit, assuming that they can stay healthy. That's always the question facing every NFL roster. So yeah, assuming they can stay healthy, I think we're going to see much better things from this defense, and if they can take just a little bit of pressure off of the offense and allow them more freedom to like run the ball and stuff like that, that can really help out this entire offensive attack. So expecting pretty decent things from this defense. We'll see what we get out of them. They actually have some things to figure out here in the preseason, so maybe take a look at a little bit more of, backing the Dolphins in terms of unders or stuff like that in the preseason. But generally speaking, guys, that's what we think of Miami coming into this season. In terms of their week 1 matchup, they're taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's the Jaguars at the Miami Dolphins. We've got the Dolphins at -3.5 in this game and an over-under all the way up to 49. Jacksonville, not a team that we've gone through yet. I generally think they're expected to make some positive directional moves, but yeah, a big contract there for Trevor Lawrence maybe seems a bit sketchy to me. The Dolphins at -3.5 getting to play at home. Playing at Miami is a really tough task early in the season. That heat and being on the sunny side of the field and all of those different things that the Dolphins like to throw at their opponents definitely helps Miami at home in this one. And I don't think taking them -3.5 is too big of a stretch. I also think you could take a look at over 49 in this game. I think we'll see a lot of offense in this one, but I think there's better value on the Dolphins -3.5. I'm not super sold on that Jaguars defense. I don't think they're incredible, and Miami definitely has the offense to take advantage of any weaknesses in a defense. So yeah, guys, generally speaking, my slight lean here on this week 1 matchup for Miami is going to be them -3.5. We'll see what direction that number goes into. That could give us a little bit more information, but expecting good things from the Dolphins there in week 1 against the Jaguars, and Miami being at home in the early season, that's definitely a nice spot to look at. Our next AFC East team, guys, is going to be the New England Patriots, who come into this season with a lot of new looks and yeah, fresh off of a very disappointing campaign last year. 4-13 on the year, missed the playoffs, obviously, just straight up not having a very good time out there. They're hoping they can kind of hit the reset button on this franchise. We've got Jared Mayo out there as their head coach. It's going to be his first year doing that, so we'll see what he can do out there. They picked Drake Maine as their number 3 pick in the draft. He looked, very, very good out there. He's a highly touted prospect. We'll see what he can actually do. New offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt to, get this offense back on track after a terrible, terrible season. Gone is Mac Jones. No more Mac Jones nightmares for you Patriots fans, guys. That had to be a very, very tough time. Obviously, everything since Tom Brady has been a little bit rough out there. Not a lot of positives, so they're hoping things will be back on track. They're hoping they've got their quarterback of the future, but right now, guys, it looks like they're going to be handing the ball to Jacoby Brissett to start the season at quarterback. Once the season opens, that's at least looking like the idea right now, which doesn't really have the odds makers and all the season projections looking super, super hot for them, but we've seen Brissett do some very positive things over the course of his career, and while this is projected to be one of the worst offenses in the NFL, I think that might be a slight overreaction. They don't have a ton of offensive weapons, don't get me wrong, and Brissett's not necessarily a starting caliber NFL quarterback, but he's, I think, better than Mac Jones last season, and I think it can at least be like some baby steps in the right direction while we see Drake Maine, settle in a little bit. I don't think there's any reason to be rushing him out there. I mean, the worse the Patriots are this season, the better their draft pick will be for next year, so I think that's something to also take into consideration. You're going to have to have some patience here, Patriots fans. It's going to be a little bit rough. I don't think they're in for the most fun season, but overall, I think the future is looking a little bit brighter, and not only is the offense being completely revamped here, guys, we've got a new defensive coordinator for the Patriots. We've got DeMarcus Covington, first time as a coordinator, so we'll see what he can do. I mean, historically, this has been a fantastic defense, and they're looking to stay solid on that front. They were good on that side of the ball last year, despite constantly being put in the worst situations possible by terrible, terrible Mac Jones mistakes. And yeah, I mean, that offense was so bad last season, it really messed things up for the defense. But like I said, guys, I do think this defense isn't going to be terrible. I think they're going to take something of a step back. I don't think they'll be quite as good on defense as they were a year ago. I mean, this is not a team that really should be motivated to win games this season. This is definitely a tank it out and improve that draft position type season for the Patriots. Obviously, they're hoping that Drake Maine can pan out here and they're not going to need to draft another quarterback, but being high up in the draft, shore up that offensive line or anything else, like you just want to have the shot at the best talent in the draft. So I think that's going to be more what the Patriots are zeroed in on this season, but I do think they're going to be a slightly more competitive team than people think. Are they going to be competitive here in week 1, though? Well, that's a pretty good question, guys. We see week 1 here, we've got the Patriots going on the road to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. We've got the Bengals at -9 in this game. We've got an over-under of 42.5, so the odds makers expecting this to be a fairly low-scoring game, and that could definitely make some sense. I mean, we see the Patriots here at +9, though. This is going to sound a little bit wild, guys, but I'm edging towards the Patriots +9. I don't think this defense is going to be that bad. I do think Jacoby Brissett is a serviceable NFL-level quarterback. Like, maybe he's not who I'd want to stake the future of my franchise on, but I don't think he's terrible. And yeah, we definitely can lean into that whole Joe Burrow starting off the season slow. We don't know yet if he's going to have one of his trademark training camp injuries, but that could definitely happen. So I honestly think there might even be some value in taking the Patriots +9 now, well before the season starts, to lock in that number just in case we see some weird calamity type stuff happen to the Cincinnati Bengals or their offense or like whatever. But overall, guys, I think that's a pretty decent lean. And if you're interested in taking the Patriots at +9, I think you should also be a little bit interested in taking under 42.5. If we're going to see Burrow struggle, that means the Patriots are going to have a better chance of, keeping this game close. And if this is a close game for the Patriots, that's going to mean their defense is playing well. And I don't expect them to put up a ton of points in this game. So I also think under 42.5 is a very, very interesting spot on this game. So yeah, those are my two leans in this one. Patriots +9, maybe, and also under 42.5. Our last team here in the AFC East might be the most interesting one, guys. We've got the New York Jets on deck. They are hoping to turn things around after a complete and utter disaster last season with Aaron Rodgers going down just as soon as he took the field. That was a huge tragedy for the NFL just in general, and Rodgers and this whole franchise, like, not what they thought was going to happen. After that rough season, guys, Robert Saleh, their head coach, definitely ended up on the hot seat. There was a lot of, buzz around the possibility of him maybe getting fired here in the offseason, but that did not happen, so definitely on the hot seat here, definitely going to have to make some things happen after a 7-10 year last season with all kinds of crazy problems with their quarterback room. And yeah, that has hopefully, I will say, hopefully been rectified here. We're going to see, Aaron Rodgers under center, and the idea is that he is going to stay healthy this year. I mean, this offense, guys, super high expectations coming in. The offensive line should have improved a lot, which will make a huge difference. They need to be keeping Aaron Rodgers upright. He's way too old to be having to scramble all the time, or God forbid, trying to run the ball. We do not need another crazy injury. It's reported that he's not going to be playing in the preseason here, coming off of that Achilles injury. So we'll see what he looks like there in week 1 of the regular season, I guess. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall are going to be expected to step things up here, and the addition of Mike Williams gives them another big play threat. So this is a very, very interesting offense, guys. I mean, we see Malaki Corley, the 65th pick in the draft, could be a big addition there as well. So overall, expectations are, I don't think this is any exaggeration to say, absolutely sky high for this offense. I mean, they were okay trying to run the ball last year. They didn't have a whole lot that they could do. I mean, when you're dealing with quarterback play as bad as they had a season ago, yeah, they're just, your hands are tied as an offensive coordinator. So they're expected to do much, much better this season. And I don't see any reason that won't be the case. The only thing would be another injury to Aaron Rodgers. So expecting definite good stuff here from the Jets offense. And we'll see what we get from their defense, which was amazing last season and definitely has to feel a lot better to, now that they're going to have a real offense on the other side of the ball. Jeff Ulbrich comes into this one. I mean, last season, they were one of the better defenses in the NFL, despite getting put in the worst spots by the offense like all game long. I couldn't believe their defense, the Jets defense, was able to keep up any sort of level of commitment. Like, it was just absolutely disgusting seeing the spots they were getting put in all the time. So yeah, I'm not really expecting any big downturns for this unit that is heavy on talent and has pretty decent depth. They might not be the deepest defense out there, but it's not a huge problem. And yeah, with an offense that's apparently going to be dedicated to running the ball, they shouldn't be on the field so much, which was another big problem. Like, the freaking Jets defense, guys, they were on the field, it seemed like the entire game. Like, they were just never coming off the field. They'd like get off the field, they'd force a 3 and out, and like, oh, interception. Now we're back out there on the field. Like, absolutely terrible stuff. So definitely expecting a nice bounce back here from this Jets team in general, and expecting good stuff from their defense, which obviously very good last year, and you can only become more motivated having your real starting quarterback out there and an offense that looks like it can definitely move the ball. So yeah, looking at week 1 here for the Jets, they're going to be playing on Sunday Night Football in a pretty crazy matchup, guys. We've got the Jets going on the road to take on the San Francisco 49ers, who are minus 5.5 in this game. We've got an over-under of 44.5 in this one, so not expecting a ton of crazy offensive numbers in this one from the odds makers, apparently. And yeah, generally speaking in this game, I mean, we're seeing some troublesome stuff kind of from the 49ers. I mean, we've got a McCaffrey injury already, which that could definitely knock them down a few pegs, and they're not going to be as good, in terms of their wide receiver core. If we see Ayuk actually get traded, that's been one of the weirdest stories going on in the offseason, or, in the preseason, we'll say. So yeah, a little bit of troublesome news from the 49ers, which makes me like the Jets a little bit in this spot at plus 5.5. I mean, we see Rodgers going out there. He's going to be very anxious to prove himself, and the 49ers, they're going to be a great team this year. I don't doubt it, but I don't think they've necessarily got better from last season. And we have those questions about McCaffrey and stuff like that, and how's Purdy going to look this season and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely shading towards the Jets plus 5.5 in this game. And if you're wanting to take a look at that over under of 44.5, I do think there could be some benefit in taking a small look at the over, but that's not really my favorite spot. I think that's a pretty good number. I could see this being, like a 24-20 type of game that maybe the Jets win, maybe the 49ers win. Like, we'll see how it works out, but that's kind of where I'm shading in this game. So yeah, guys, that's all we've got here for this breakdown of the AFC East. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any NFL questions that you have, and don't forget to check out the community post and the pinned comment for my daily MLB predictions. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out StumpTheSpread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.